Let's talk about All You Need Is Love.
The song or the satellite performance?
Both.
Well, you can't really separate them, can you?
No, not at all.
It's one of those rare moments where the medium and the message just, they fused perfectly.
It really is. And I think for a lot of people, the song is so, ubiquitous now.
Oh, it's everywhere.
Commercials, movies, weddings. We forget what a high-wire act that original performance was.
100%. We're talking June 25th, 1967. The world was just a completely different place technologically.
To really get the weight of it, you have to look at the event itself.
Our world.
Exactly, our world. This wasn't just some concert special.
No. This was the first live global television broadcast via satellite.
It sounds almost mundane now, doesn't it? We can just pull out a phone and video chat across the planet.
But back then, this was science fiction coming to life. It was a massive logistical feat.
The European Broadcasting Union spent, 10 months putting it all together?
10 months. Just think about the coordination, the cables, the switchboards, the early satellite tech.
And connecting 25 countries.
Beaming a signal to 400 million people, all at the same time.
400 million. That number is just staggering, even today.
It's a bigger audience than almost anything gets now. It's on the level of, the moon landing in terms of a shared global experience.
And right in the middle of all this tech, the Beatles get a very specific job.
They're chosen to represent the United Kingdom.
But the challenge was what the organizers told them. Whatever you do, it has to be understood by everyone.
Globally, you've got viewers in Japan, Mexico, all over Europe.
So no British slang, no complex poetry.
The mandate was literally basic English. Ryan Epstein, their manager, said the goal was an inspired message that could not be misinterpreted.
And that's where John Lennon steps in. I love this era of Lennon. He was really starting to see himself as more than just a pop star. He was a communicator.
He was shifting gears completely. He saw himself as a revolutionary artist at this point.
And he was very open about what he was doing with this song.
He called the lyrics, in his own words, propaganda for change.
Propaganda is such a loaded word, isn't it?
It is. But he seemed to mean it in a functional sense. He was fascinated by how advertising worked.
Like slogans?
Exactly. How you get an idea to stick. He realized that if you want to reach a global audience, you don't use poetic metaphors, you use absolute terms.
Which is exactly what the lyrics are. Nothing you can do that can't be done.
No one you can save that can't be saved.
Nowhere you can be. It's all these absolutes.
Deliberately, there's no gray area. It was a strategy to be as direct as possible.
What's so interesting is that this comes right after Sgt. Pepper.
Right. They just released this incredibly dense, complex, psychedelic masterpiece.
You would have expected something really weird and avant-garde for the broadcast.
And they might have done that if not for the constraints. This is a perfect example of how limitations can actually spark creativity.
So the broadcast rules acted as a kind of a creative filter.
That's the perfect way to put it. Without that basic English rule and that hard deadline, Lennon might have just gone deeper into the studio experimentation of that era.
So we could have gotten I Am the Walrus Part 2.
Very possibly. But instead, the result was total clarity. It stripped the revolutionary idea down to its bare core.
But here's the paradox, right? We talk about the simple message, the simple lyrics, but the music is anything but simple.
Oh, not in the slightest. Then that's the magic trick of the whole song.
It sounds like a campfire sing-along.
But if you actually try to tap your foot or count the beats in the verses, you're going to get lost.
You do. It feels like you're always missing a step or something. It has this kind of stumble to it.
It opens with the French national anthem.
A
little wink to the international audience.
Yeah.
And then the coda, the ending, just dissolves into this joyful chaos.
You've got Glenn Miller's In the Mood in there.
And they're even quoting their own song, She Loves You.
Yeah. It's like a musical melting pot.
Which was the whole point. It was turning a pop song into a global celebration.
Okay, so let's go to the studio. EMI Studios, Abbey Road. The look of this broadcast is just as iconic as the sound.
Oh, the scene was incredible. They basically turned Studio One into, someone called it a medieval gathering, merged with cutting-edge technology.
You see the footage. There are balloons, flowers, Hand-painted signs everywhere.
And the guest list.
It wasn't just the band, it was a who's who.
Mick Jagger is there, sitting on the floor, Eric Clapton, Keith Moon. They just invited all their friends to create this party atmosphere.
It looks like the most relaxed, casual performance in history.
And that was the genius of it, because while it looked like a party on the floor in the control booth, it was absolute terror.
I can only imagine. Live, global TV.
If something goes wrong, a mic cuts out, the satellite link drops.
You can't just stop and do another take, not in front of 400 million people.
The pressure on George Martin, their producer, must have been astronomical.
He's the one trying to blend the live orchestra, the pre-recorded track, and the live vocals.
He was. And the engineer, Jeff Emmerich. They were apparently so nervous they hid a bottle of scotch under the mixing desk.
You're kidding.
Just to steady their nerves. But despite that insane pressure, the band they nailed it.
They really did. The vocals were live. The guitar solo from George was live.
And the bass.
Paul's bass line is so melodic, but it's also what's holding down that crazy rhythm we talked about.
To play that live with a shifting time signature in that environment, it just shows you how incredibly tight they were as musicians.
So the broadcast goes out. The song's a hit. The impact is what? Instantaneous.
Immediate. It goes to #1 in the US and the UK. But it was way more than just a commercial hit. It was a cultural atom bomb.
It really was the heartbeat of the Summer of Love.
It was the anthem. You have to remember, this is the summer that 100,000 people are gathering in Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco.
And suddenly the biggest band on earth broadcasts a message that validates everything that movement was about.
It took peace and love from being a hippie slogan and made it feel like a legitimate political goal.
The Beatles were suddenly seen as secular prophets.
And they were trying to live it, too. This is around the time they were seriously looking into buying a Greek island to start a commune.
A Beatles commune.
They were completely serious. They wanted to build a society based on the ideals in the song.
Of course, not everyone loved it. When you put a message that pure out there, you're going to get cynicism.
Absolutely. Later on, critics like Tim Riley called it naive and bloated.
I can see that.
Hey.
I mean, compared to the grit of something like A Day in the Life, it could feel a little light.
Naive was the word people used, especially in the 80s when the world got much more cynical.
The Summer of Love was over, and people were looking back like, well, love didn't solve everything, did it?
Exactly. The song felt like a failed promise to some.
But George Harrison always stood by it.
He did. Even in 1987, he said that complete love is a fundamental law of nature. He saw it as a cosmic truth, not a hippie slogan.
And you know what's amazing? The science actually backs him up.
This is fascinating.
There's that 80-year-long Harvard study, the Grant study.
Right, the one that tracked men for their entire lives to find out what makes people happy.
They looked at everything.
Yeah.
Wealth, career, health, you name it. And the #1 predictor of happiness and longevity.
It wasn't money or fame.
It was close relationships. The head of the study summed up 80 years of data in 5 words. Happiness is love. Full stop.
Wow, happiness is love, full stop.
The data caught up to the art. Lennon was tapping into something fundamental about being human.
The song dares to be that absolute. And maybe in our cynical world, that kind of earnestness is what feels so radical about it.
It's not a statement of fact. Maybe. It's a statement of necessity. It's not love is all you have. It's love is all you need.
It's a blueprint, an aspiration, and that's why it endures.
Well, thanks for joining us today. Whenever you feel like knowing more about the Beatles, visit us at BeatlesRewind.com. It's the Beatles. All day, every day, 8 days a week. Cats will do it again tomorrow, right?
Absolutely. See you then.
Until next time, when you listen.
Your mind conducts its own symphony.